Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jess and the Guest. My guest today is David Elsendoorn. You know him best as playing Jan Maas on AFC Richmond in Ted Lasso. In this episode, we talk about meeting Jason Sudeikis for the first time, how acting is fear management, joining the cast of Ted Lasso in season 2 after watching Ted Lasso season 1, which is, I think, would be very intimidating, at least for me. We talk about everything from the circus to learning English through Eminem when he was 7 to everything. He is the best. He's so nice, so funny. Rooming with Cristo Fernandez. I can't say enough good things about David, and I hope you love this episode.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But okay, wait, how was LA? What, you were just at, I think I saw some photos of you at the Emmys parties and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
How was all of that?
That was a very special night. That was, one I will never forget. That's for sure. Yeah,
Oh.
it was just great to see everyone again after having worked with them for half a year, and then with all their Emmys in their hands, and just it was just so ecstatic. And we were all in a hotel in the lobby, and there was a swimming pool, and it was funny because the whole evening there was nobody swimming in the swimming pool, and at a certain point we all drank quite a lot of champagne, and then Phil jumped in. Phil Dunster, who plays Jamie Tart, and then I was like, oh, I really wanna jump in as well. And then I just walked up to him, and then he said, oh mate, you cannot jump in because I just got told off. And then he was like, and then I was like, but I really want to jump in still because that would be so refreshing after a whole night of drinking. And then I just did it, and then I jumped in the pool. I was like, I'm in the pool in LA, and it was my first day in LA, so I was like ecstatic. And then I climb out, and then someone at the hotel came up to me and said, if one of you guys does this again, this party is over. I was like, oh shit. almost got the party crashed. How do you say?
It's
Yeah.
worth it though. That story's amazing.
I thought this is the ones. I mean, when are you in LA on a party with like your family, basically, where you got so close with, who won all these super prestigious prizes with a pool, and there nobody swims in this pool. Like I had to take the opportunity and just jump in.
That's amazing, and I'm so glad you did that. Good. Yeah. Were you part of the karaoke? I think I saw Jeremy Swift.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So jealous. It looked so much fun. Did you sing karaoke?
No, I did No Diggity with Chip.
Okay.
He backed me up. Like, oh, it was so happy that he actually backed me up. It was great fun. But no, there were a lot of people like Christo did karaoke, Brandon, Juno, Jason, Jeremy. It was a lot of karaoke. It was great.
You had 4 days between getting the part. I don't know if this is right, and then like basically being in London. Is that? I would be so
That's
overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't sleep for like, I was like nauseous, and I was just like, I couldn't sleep, so I just did like these super long walks through the park and called a few friends that were still awake in the night, that I knew that were awake during the night. So I was just calling them and just chatting with them like, bro, I'm so nervous. I don't know what's gonna happen, and blah blah blah. And they were just like trying to calm me down, and I was like, I'm just so nervous, like naming everything that could go wrong. But I knew that I was nervous for the right reason, so I knew that I was gonna do it. But it was just so strange after having lived for 10 months with my parents again in quarantine and
Yeah.
in this pandemic, and you just get so close to each other. And then it was winter, and it's really
Yeah.
so it was like a radical change. But I knew this was like, I wanted it, that this was my dream. So yeah.
Oh. Well, it doesn't come off that you were nervous.
No, it's terrifying, really. Like on being on the set, and I found it truly terrifying. I was like dying from the inside. But I guess everyone, just because there's such a trust in everyone trusts each other so much, and we're such a team, like literally and figuratively speaking, that it's just it feels like a warm bath. So everyone uses their nerves just to be very sharp and in the scene and just reacting off each other and being together and creating another special moment. And yeah, it's just everyone is just so grateful to be on set as well. So it's like, yeah, everyone is nervous, but we're all. I think acting is, I mean, great acting is fear management mainly as well.
Oh, I
Like
love that. Oh, that's so
managing
smart.
fear. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how. I mean, I don't know what if Brad Pitt would be as nervous. Probably not. He would be like he did. He made so many hours. So for him, it maybe would be less. I don't know. I'm not sure. But for me, just speaking from my experience, it's fear management mainly.
yeah. What was your first
Yeah.
day on set like too? Because you came in during season 2, so you were such
Um,
a great addition. But I feel like it must have been so nerve wracking too to come in season 2 when everyone's already like met each other,
it
hung
was
out. Yeah.
yeah, it was just overwhelming. I never been in a studio, to be honest. I just did I did some I was lucky enough to do some beautiful projects here, but in the Netherlands we don't really have a studio like the Warner Brothers studio in London.
Yeah.
So it was like from from arriving in London, it was a bit like living in a movie. It was, yeah, and it felt really overwhelming because it was so big and everyone was so kind, and it was like eh, departments, and I got lost like numerous times the
Yeah.
first time I was in the studio because it was so enormous, and I just felt like I was in a movie. And then I saw everyone that I've been seeing on my screen. Like after having watched the first season, I was just like, "Hey Jamie, can you? I mean Phil." Like I kept saying their character names instead of like their real names, and it was like, yeah, it was overwhelming. But from the start, I felt really welcome, and I felt everyone was really inviting, and yeah,
Oh,
it was great learning experience. But yeah, just to walk in the locker room for the first time, that's an experience I will never forget, because that was so surreal. I literally felt like I said that to Mo Jeudi Lamour, who plays Zorro, the goalie.
yeah.
Like, oh man, I just feel like someone is like can pinch me any moment, and I'm waking up from this dream. And he was like, "Serious? You never been in like a big show like this, and like American shows?" I said, "No, man, I never been in such a. Wow, that's amazing, man." And then I was like, we were shooting it, and it just felt so surreal to see my character name on the locker room, because it became such a iconic series after having watched the first season. So it was like
Yeah.
so weird to like in a way penetrate that world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in so many iconic scenes. Do you have a favorite scene that you've done? Like Cola was just on talking about the barber scene and how great you were in it, but is there a
That
favorite scene? Yeah.
um yeah, well, in terms of which scene cracked me up the most, that was the barber scene for me as well,
Yeah.
because I just it just it just got me back in that moment right away, like that awkwardness and how much we were together in that moment, and we're just like playing and reacting of each other and just creating that thing. So, but yeah, I think the most I think the last scene where I was just in the locker room, that was the most that's the most that was the scene where I was most afraid
Yeah.
and the most nervous. And yeah, because I had to address a whole room, including Jason, and it felt so surreal. And yeah, that was kind of that was a really exciting moment. And I just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I wasn't really there in the moment. I was very much there, but not really there. So when I saw it back, I was like, oh, happy that I got the words out that I had to say. Like that got out of my over my lips.
Oh.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the in sync scene too, the dance moves. It like blew up here. Like it was on every news station.
Really, really?
How was learning that? Because that's a hard dance to.
Yeah, we had a pretty strict teacher, pretty strict dance teacher. So he was really on it, and we were all really on it. But yeah, it needed a lot of practice to get it perfectly on beat. And yeah, it was great. It was great to have like such a switch in like what we were doing mainly, like just being dancing together and just like trying to get it as tight as we could.
Yeah,
Um,
I heard the choreographer was very strict. Is probably the best way to
yeah,
put it. Yeah. I was like, oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, and it was really cool because I think it's a very famous song, but I didn't didn't know it before. So yeah, but it felt like, oh, this is a classic, but I don't know it, but it feels like it's a classic. So we kind of, yeah, got into that classicness. And yeah, I'm really happy how they did it as well, that they did it as a rehearsal instead of the actual thing.
yeah,
So it just gives you a sneak peek of what we were gonna do for Dr. Fieldstone, but it didn't really got to that point. So that, I think that's just brilliantly done by
yeah.
the writers. And yeah.
Oh, and so I know you and Christo were roommates, which is I love Christo. He's been on here. How was that? Because I can't even. I feel like you guys must be like the most positive and like nicest. Like you must have had so much fun.
Yeah, well, he's my brother, man. He just became my blood brother. I almost say, like, he's just my buddy. And I was just so happy that he was looking for a room as well.
Yeah,
Because I stayed in a hotel, then I stayed at a friend, um, and then I was looking for another place, and then he said like, "Hey, I'm looking for something as well." And then I was like, "Hey, maybe we can find something together," because I still felt like I wanted to understand the dynamic more of the set, because there were so many people. I was never on a project that included so many departments and people. So I felt like,
yeah,
oh, this is just a great opportunity to get to know, like, how is everyone, and how what is like the normal, how do things go, like what is normal, what isn't. And like, yeah, and then he really, it was just great because, yeah, we hung out a lot, and we played FIFA, and
yeah,
we were inviting our other teammates over, and it was just great because you're not on set and you're just chatting and you're getting to know each other. And it's the pressure is even more off, like you just
yeah.
relax,
I think
you're
it
getting
makes
to
such
know.
a difference too, and you can really tell that you guys are all friends off screen too. Like it just makes such a
Yeah,
difference. So so nice to
yeah,
see.
it adds up. You see,
Yeah.
yeah, if you see the chemistry, you notice that there's chemistry, and that's just because we like each other so much. So it's, yeah,
Does
it's real.
Does Christo ever frown at all? Does he is he ever not smile?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He frowns when he imitates when he imitates Cola. Yeah, he frowns when he imitates Cola, and he does that quite a bit. So, but he does a very good job with that, actually. So it
Ooh.
cracks us up all very much. So yeah, that's the only time when he frowns, really. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The rest
what was
he's a smiley face.
oh, what was your so when I first met Jason Sudeikis, I like physically ran into him and was like, "Oh my God, you're Jason!" So I'm sure your meeting was much cooler than mine. But how did you first meet him on the set?
Um, he gave me a handshake, which was
Oh,
like the first handshake I got in months and months,
yeah,
because of it. So
yeah,
that was kind of, in a weird way, overwhelming, because I just got so used to not shaking people's hands, and then he
mhm,
just um, he did that. So that was in a way really, and I felt at ease really fast. Like, well, it felt really surreal because I was like, wow, this is so crazy that I'm actually getting to be in the same room as you, but at the other hand, you're a human being, just like everyone in this room. So I just felt like I needed to find out for myself if we were like everyone was same level, if you know what I mean. So with the first scene that we shot was my introduction scene was different from the scene that we what ended up in the series. So we shot that on my first day on set, and I was just, like I said, super superlative of nervous, and I just didn't quite understand where he wanted to go with the introduction. So I just felt like I wanted just to have a little chat with him. So I needed to check if he was like open for that, or if there would be other people that I had to speak to if I wanted to ask a question. I mean, I didn't know what the normal ways of being such a big set were. So I just felt like I just gotta walk up to him and ask him that question. So like we were about to go on action, and I was like, oh no, stop! I just need to ask a question. So I walked all the way up into the office, and I was like, hey Jason, do you mean like goldfish in this way or goldfish in that way? And then he just explained to me, and I was like, ah, cool. He's just a cool dude, and you can just communicate with him in a normal way. And he's just egoless, and he's very open to talk to, and at the same time I've got a tons and tons of respect for him that he is able to set something up like this and create a character like that is so likable. That's one of the most likable characters that I've ever seen.
Me too. Yeah.
In recent films.
There are so many great comics. Like Brent is everyone. Brent is. Are you going to be a comedian now too?
I tried it once.
I didn't know that.
Open mic and stand-up comedy here in Amsterdam in a club that's called the Comedy Train.
Okay.
A stand-up place for comedians, but it's for like very established comedians, like my heroes. So I should have gone to a place where it's more like amateurs are coming, and it's just more the bar is not so high. So I was shit nervous. I was so nervous. But it was a great learning experience because you get punished right away when you try to tell a joke and people are not laughing. It's like you get hit in the face by people not laughing. So it was such a great learning experience. I don't know if I dare to do it again. I hope I'll find the courage to try again, because it was great. It was terrible, but it was great at the same time.
I think you would be great. So, but yeah, that's the worst feeling too.
Well, but do you come up with different themes every show, or you improvise a lot? Because I wanted to improvise a lot, but then at the end I thought I should have. Then I wrote something, but then at the end I felt like I didn't figure out what was and maybe that's different for everyone, but how do you do it? Like, do you improvise a lot, or do you?
I have to write it all out. So like I have to like write it all out and practice it, because I'll forget it, and then I'll be like, what do I? So I have to like memorize it, practice it, write it all out, and do the whole thing. But a lot of great people can just improvise it, but I'm not good at that. So I have to write it. Well, Kola was telling me and Tohib was telling me a lot about these pranks on the set. Were you ever in these pranks or anything? I heard a lot about Nerf guns and I think like upside down things. Did you ever do any pranks?
About the upside down things, what that was, but I mean, you mean if I got pranked on, like if they
or if you did any like pranks or anything?
Well, I shot a cup of that wasn't an intentional prank. Well, some people say it was, but it wasn't. I shot one hot cup of coffee out of Tuhib's hand with with a football.
Oh my
That was like the most clumsiest, the most clumsy action of the whole season. But that wasn't really a prank. No, so yeah, we were pranking. We were pranking. Uh, like once they found my phone and then they made pictures of weird things. No, we were pranking constantly, like
yeah.
between takes as well. We're trying to crack each other up, and yeah, it's
Oh.
just constant pranking. Yeah,
But
yeah,
wait,
yeah.
did I hear you did something with juggling or the circus or something cool?
Yeah, I was in a circus, yeah, for a few years. I think from when I was 12 or something like that, 12 or 13.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
the
So I did
coolest.
juggling and Diabolo, and I did like balancing and standing on my hands and stuff like that. Yeah, I went to Circus Santelli, which was a circus in my hometown, and I loved it. It was great.
That
Yeah.
is the
When I
coolest
was
thing.
younger, I was always fantasizing about being a circus artist. Like that was like my magical fantasy. Like how would it be to be in like a circus family and traveling all over the world and performing, and so yeah, that's what I did when I was younger. No, well, I wasn't really in a circus, but I was
Yeah.
just I mean I was in a circus, but not like
Yeah. And
actual. Was it? I didn't get paid uh,
yeah.
for it.
That is
It
the
was just
coolest thing
fun.
I've ever heard. That is so cool. I have no interest in facts, so that's amazing.
You
But
have no.
I have like no cool fact. Like I feel like that's such a cool trick and like cool.
Don't believe that. I don't believe that.
All right, so I just have rapid fire questions. First one, is Brett Goldstein CGI? Is he a real person or is he? Did you hear about this CGI rumor?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was. He ate an apple, right? He ate an apple to prove he was CGI. Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends. Some days he might be sending a CGI version, and some days he's coming himself.
Such a good answer.
It's he's very aware of like the way he's moving and the way he comes off, and it's just great how he uses that, and it's also great in his character because he's so stuck. So it's great that he moves so staccato and so yeah, he's a great guy generally. He's like
Yeah, I know. I can't believe he likes
nothing.
the Muppets, and it's just so funny to see him play this like very tough character, and he's like likes the Muppets and is like a comic, and yeah,
Yeah.
so
He's also like Cristo, big smiley guy. It's just that Cristo is Danny Rojas is a smiley guy as well, and Roy Kent is not. But if he's not Roy Kent, you're just having a genuine conversation with him. He's just like this. His eyes getting small. He's just smiling all the way. Yeah, great guy.
yeah. What is your? I mean, you already kind of answered, but what is your go-to karaoke song?
Um, if it was the one I picked, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it kind of is because I practiced the verse, and I was hoping for it to come up as well, but it got cut off earlier, so I was like, damn it, I wanted to rap. uh, but yeah, I like performing rap songs.
Yeah,
I always I was always into getting all the lyrics, reading, getting to know them by heart, and just when I was little, when I was 7, actually, I got a CD of Eminem, so he was my first introduction to rap, and of course I didn't understand. I couldn't speak English still, so I was like all the words were like I don't know, just I didn't know any of the words, so I just try to rap along with him, and then my mom was at a certain time, David, please, don't say that. And I was like, why can't I?
Yeah.
Because it's bad language. And then I was like, no, but I want to sing. So I went up to my room, closed the door, and I was like rapping to Eminem, having no clue what I was saying. But it sounded really cool. Like the energy of it was really like,
Yeah.
yeah, really cool.
I can't get over how great your English is too. Like you're amazing because I would have thought you were British. Like I would not have known. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. But thank you.
Yeah, and that's a hard language to learn. So I give you a lot of credit. I could not have learned it if I was.
Well, you can not do a lot with well, when you want to live in the Netherlands and work in the Netherlands, and where you can just know Dutch and that's your only language. But we're quite dependent on like economy wise on Germany, France, the United Kingdom. So we gotta learn more languages in order to become successful and just to make connections with other people. So
Yeah.
I can understand if you were born and raised in the States that you don't necessarily have to speak another language, because I don't know, half of the world speaks English, or at least a lot, maybe not the half, but a lot.
Yeah.
Most of the people, I think.
If you could play any other character on Ted Lasso, who would you play?
Ooh, I think I would play Ted, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I think. Yeah, he is so much fun. I think all characters are great.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick from, but Ted was the first one that came to mind. So I think I stick with that.
Last question: who is the best dancer in the cast? Since you've done so many cool dancing.
I gotta say Phil Dunster. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Well, he was in front as well. So on all the videos, he was the most visible. So maybe there was like a few hidden talents in the last row. But he was really on beat all the time, and I like the style of dancing. Yeah.
Well, you were great too in it, because I immediately watched you in it, so you did great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, you're amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. I can't wait to see more.
It was great talking with you. I really enjoyed it.